to kick off, friends. First of all, this is probably going to be controversial. For me, right, the whole idea of VAR, is that you get the right decision. And for me, whatever the debate around it, whether or not it should have been reviewed or not, this was the right decision. It wasn't a penalty. And therefore, I think fair enough. Alex, what do you reckon?
Well, for starters, regardless of whether you think it's about coming to the right decision, if it gets down to the clear and obvious mark, and that is the letter of the law, then that's where you are with that. In terms of the actual foul itself, I've watched it quite a few times this morning, and I'm still really struggling to get my head around it because there's just a lot going on. It's so kind of close together.
Well, essentially, what happens is Clarke kicks the back of McNeil's calf as he goes to shoot, essentially, and they obviously Kieran is saying that's because McNeil lunged across the kind of line of shooting, if you like. But McNeil, I'm sure, will just say, "Well, I was just running back towards the ball, and it was just a tangle of legs, at which there was no fault." Which is where I think if it was a penalty given against Town, I would have been fuming if it wasn't overturned because I don't think it was a penalty. So on you go. Sorry, AJ, I jumped in again.
Well, that's kind of the point. Is that there's the two sides of it. He's made the contact there, and that's where the argument for the penalty is. And then the other argument that goes against it is the fact that it's Clarke hitting McNeil. So is that worthy of the overturn? But the contact's there still, and that's where you're then looking at VAR and clear and obvious errors. I'm not too sure, so I kind of get it on McKenna's side with that. The other thing is it looks like Clarke's going to ground, which is the other thing. It looks like he's kind of slipping as he goes to take the shot, which was one of the points of, is he already going to go to ground before the contact's made? I kind of get that, but also there's a chance that he slips and takes the shot and ends up in the back of the net. So again, I feel like I've kind of skated around both sides of it. I can understand why it would be a penalty. I can understand why it wouldn't be. But the fact that the on-field decision was then going to overturn it when I see it as a real 50-50, that's probably what makes me uncomfortable. Where even if you say VAR should be getting the right decision no matter what, if it's clear and obvious errors that we're looking for, I wouldn't necessarily put this into the clear and obvious bracket.
That's kind of the debate, isn't it, Stu? Which makes me feel kind of uneasy, is that I don't think anyone really, hand on heart, thinks it was a penalty. But we're kind of arguing, well, it shouldn't have been overturned, even though it was the wrong decision.
Yeah. I'm not convinced it's a penalty. Certainly as a defender, I don't think he lunges across the line of the ball. I think that's overplaying it. I think it's more the scenario you've just described where Dwight McNeil is just running back towards his own goal and he just happens to, Clarke's leg happens to hit him rather than, the other way round. It's a fantastic bit of play from Jack Clarke. We have to say that. Sort of some nice little shoulder drops and body swerves and in the box. I do think there's something about the referee feeling it live at the time, something happening at real time. I hate this kind of re-refereeing through slow motion. Football is not played at slow motion. It's played at full speed. And I think gut instincts from referees around what feels right at the time should be I don't want them scared to make decisions because they've got this fear of kind of having to get something sort of bang on. And I think a bit of that is creeping into play. So it's a 50-50 call. It was given live at the time. Not convinced it was, but, and this is the big debate here, is once it is given, the whole point of VAR is to clear up the absolute travesties in the game, to clear up the clear and obvious errors. Something if the referee somehow missed someone handballing it into the net or, something along those lines. So we've just spent however long discussing, is it, isn't it? There'll be a big split on this. There has to be some sort of time limit on this. Surely that's the only way to do it. You've got a panel of how many people in the VAR room? Is it 3? 3 people. I don't know. Is there a voting system in there that 3 of them sort of do it? And unless all 3 are unanimous within a minute, then if they can't agree within 1 minute, then it's not clear and obvious. Then you go with the original decision. This took from the original award to finally being ruled out, took the best part of 3 minutes. That's too long. I get the reason we love football is it's not like other sports. It's not stop-start, and so that's the bit that I didn't like about this, is this kind of re-refereeing. It's very pedantic. It's trying to find things. If you look at something long enough in slow motion, you'll always find reasons to change decisions. That's not what it's there for me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Stu. I mean, certainly take an example, a sport that uses instant replay a lot, American football. And they have now started, I feel like they're using a replay now to find reasons that things didn't occur. So a reason why catch isn't a catch. Did the ball, was the slightest touch of the ball on the ground as the receiver went to the floor, that kind of thing. But I do think that you ultimately want to get the right decision. And in terms of the four of us, it must be said that the one voice of reason above all other is Ross Halls. So Ross, please clear this up for us. What did you make of the whole furore, kerfuffle, row, controversy, debate?
Shambles, absolute shambles. I just don't get when, I know once again, I'm like Stu, I don't really like to talk about referee decisions because, it's done, it's happened. But obviously it's a big talking point going into this game, and obviously Kieran McKenna's not happy. But yeah, it's on 50-50 really. I think it's obviously Jack Clarke was always going to go down, wasn't he, in the box at some stage when he was dribbling past players. If he's not going to get past that one defender, he's going to go down eventually because, you just it's just how you are as an attacker. You just feel like you're going to go down because you've got players there. It's a frustrating one, but looking back, did kick McNeil's leg. Yeah, I don't know how to answer this really. Not being in a pub way. But yeah, I'm not a fan of VAR to be honest because there's so many silly moments. But yeah,